everyone, my name is Hayley and I'm the social worker here at Timboon District Healthcare Service. Today we're here in my room talking about a pretty important topic, anxiety. And to help me talk about anxiety and bravely share her story, I have Sabine here with me. Everyone experiences anxiety at some time. When people talk about their anxiety, they might use words like stressed, nervous, uptight, wound up, things like that. And anxiety can change in its severity from mild uneasiness through to terrifying panic. Anxiety also varies in how long it lasts, from a few moments to many years. So if everyone experiences anxiety, how do we know if we're experiencing normal anxiety or an anxiety disorder? Anxiety disorders are more severe, longer lasting, and interfere with the person's work, leisure activities, or relationship. Sabine, can you talk to us about your journey with anxiety? When did you start to think you were starting to have some problems with anxiety?
Yeah, so I guess, exams and all those kind of things make me always a little bit anxious and a bit nervous. I dealt with that all fine. It was early 2013 when my dad in Holland was diagnosed with esophagus cancer, and he needed 6 weeks of daily chemo and radiation. My mum was just still recovering from a triple bypass earlier that year, so she wasn't really a big fan of hospitals. And my sister had her family, so I decided, as I just resigned as an exec assistant here at TDHS, I decided to travel to Holland and help out and travel with him.
Wow.
So I stayed in with mum and dad. And that was all fine. We travelled daily, and Dad and I were reminiscing about the holidays and the fun times and everything. It was a great catch-up while he was going through that, and the same with my mum. So everything was fine and all good. So my dad's a very positive person, so and my whole family is. So we just dealt with it and went there daily, and all was good. But after about a week and a half, I just started to wake up in the middle of the night, and I couldn't really pinpoint it. I couldn't really go back to sleep. I would read a bit, but that wouldn't really distract me, and it just this nagging feeling that I just couldn't really place. And it just started to kind of get a little bit worse, and then it started to kind of go, I guess, I've got a bit of an exhilarating heart rate, shortness of breath, and then you kind of start to think, because my mum had triple bypass, so heart attack, and you go, no, I don't feel the left arm being sore just yet, and so it can't be a heart attack. And then your mind is just such a powerful thing, as you would know as a social worker. Yeah. So then I started to kind of go, oh no, I actually do feel my arm now, and so it was just evolving a little bit from there. But I still thought, no, it should be fine. I mean, it can't be anything. I'm here with mum and dad. It's all fine, and I'm just missing my family over here, like my husband and my beautiful furry kids that I have, and it should be fine. So that's kind of how I kind of experienced, I guess, my first panic attack, I guess.
Yeah, and it sounds like it sort of got a little bit progressively worse over that period as well. So do you mind if we talk a little bit more about those symptoms that you're experiencing?
Yeah, so it was really, from just having a nagging feeling and being nervous for an exam or whatever, it really went from, like I said, shortness of breath, and then a stabbing pain in the chest, like really there, and shortness of breath, and then your mind, I guess, you're trying to kind of talk yourself and go, no, it should be all fine, but your mind is, as I said, so strong, and then you think about certain symptoms of certain diseases, and you go, well, I feel that now, and now I feel that. So so that's when it really got quite bad, where I thought, no, I just have to do something. So
And what was that catalyst to go and get help, and where did you go to get help?
Yeah, so initially I didn't want to bother my mum and dad too much. I mean, they had their problems as well, but they did notice that, you know, I was tired during the day and didn't sleep too well. So so I had a bit of a chat and I said, I can't sleep and I just feel really anxious. And Dad just said straight away, he said, I think you're homesick. And I said, and both Mum and I said, you can't be homesick. Like Mum said, you've lived here for over 20 years. This is Holland. This is your home. Can't be homesick. And yeah, we kind of went, no, that can't be it. And so then one evening it just got so bad that I actually said to my dad, I said, I think I'm having a heart attack. I need to go to the hospital. And Dad couldn't drive because he was not well enough, and Mum can't drive because she has never driven. So I had to ring my sister who lives close by, and I just said, you have to take me to the nearest hospital, to A&E, and because I'm having a heart attack. So that was my initial thought to get help.
Yeah. And what was that experience like? How did you find that experience in the hospital?
It was actually really good. Their system is just a little bit different, but yeah, they still, they checked me out, asked questions, did all the checks for a heart attack and said, reassured me you're not having a heart attack, and just asked a few more questions, and the doctor there actually said, he said, you had a panic attack, and he said, you know, you might think that your mum and dad are dealing with this all, but he said you are too. He said you're worried about your mum and dad, and then you don't have your husband here. You're away from what's now your home. So he actually was really good in kind of pointing out that that I had a panic attack, and it was okay for me to feel like that. And he advised me, he said, it's different for everyone, but just try and find a coping mechanism to think your way through the panic attack. So, yeah, that was just great advice.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like the doctor was really trying to talk to you about finding an activity or something to do that brought you back to being really present, really focused. And that sort of thing is what we call mindfulness. The thing with mindfulness is it looks so different for everybody. What did you go to? What did you find clicked for you?
Yeah, so as I said, you try then to maybe read, but that's just too much of concentrating, and the next sentence you don't know what you've read in the first sentence. And I happened to actually have a good old-fashioned Nintendo DS that I had for travelling on the plane, and just for whenever I wanted to do some puzzles. I had the puzzle card in there. And in the middle of the night, when I started to get another panic attack, feeling it coming on, I'm thinking, oh, well, let's just do that. And the word searches on those Nintendo DS were just, a lifesaver, because I just really had to focus on that. I could still feel myself going through a process, but it was a coping mechanism. It was just something that I could just, it helped me getting through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sabine, what would you say to people who were worried about their anxiety and who didn't know where to start?
Yeah, so because I guess I just want to kind of just tell this story because there's so many different levels of anxiety, and mine's just a small example. So everyone goes through different things differently. And what in the COVID, in the pandemic situation where we're at, I just can imagine that there might be quite a few people that have feelings that they haven't had before, and that's what I had. I had a level of feeling that I haven't had before, and tried to cope with it initially by myself. But I just want to say, talk to people, whether it is a family member or if talking already helps. That helped with me. But talk to your family member and seek help. There's help out there, and I had my coping mechanism, but there's lots of different people that have different. Master Chef, the chef on there, the judge on there, he's got his little worry beads, and there's lots of different things, as you would know, that people can have to cope and go through it. You're not alone. Please talk and share it. and it brings awareness. It might help others as well, and it'll definitely help yourself.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sabine, for sharing your story and sharing your journey. I know it takes a lot to sort of put yourself out there in that position, so thank you.
My pleasure.
And you are so right, there are so many different triggers for anxiety, but equally there are so many different treatments and ways of coping. You just have to find what works best for you. You don't have to be alone on your anxiety journey, so please talk about it. Start with a friend or a family member or a GP or another health professional, but there is help out there and there is support for you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.